Welcome back to Power CEOs, Truth Behind the Business. I'm Jen Gaudet, your fearless host, and I am in studio with Jessica. We are talking about fertility. We're talking about communication. We started talking about sex, what everybody needs to know when you're an entrepreneur and you want to have more intimacy in your personal life. But I really want to dive into one of the next things, and that's how did you get into the fertility business? Because it seems to be something that's really niche in the healthcare segment. And I feel like it's definitely something that usually has a pretty good story.
Oh, thank you. Yes. So I spent about 20 years in conventional medicine, and about 10 of those I've been in systems-based biology, which is biochemistry-based medicine, functional medicine. And I myself worked in OBGYN and had fertility struggles myself. So when I was on that path, I didn't have these options for more of a holism approach. So I started getting involved in that and started helping people conceive who couldn't do so even with the assistance of IVF. So we still work in concert with IVF as well as with people who are not interested in IVF and people that aren't even that far down the path. And that's how I started in that space. And I ended up in a laboratory space where I learned more about business and thought it was time to really get going and launch this business.
And so what's different between working for someone and being the head of the team, being that entrepreneur and having those other mouths to feed? Talk to me a little bit about that, because we have a lot of people who side gig it and want to make that transition.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a transition. So talk to me a little bit about the challenges or the differences there.
Well, I started with a business incubator and started gathering all of these wonderful people who are incredibly creative and have their own niche and their own area of specialty. I think that that was really key. Getting people on your team who are really cohesive and have a same purpose and mission. A lot of communication, a lot of connection, making sure those people that are the right fit are on your team.
And how important was it to have people who are a little ahead of you on the game? I mean, let's be real. We're both coaches by nature, and it's so important, especially in business, that you have a little bit of guidance when you first dip in, so that you don't make the mistakes that other people have made. And reinventing the wheel is kind of silly in some aspects, especially business processes, for example. So how important was having the right people to mentor or coach or forge the way?
Right, it was imperative. We were very lucky. We were at our incubator at Spark in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and they were amazing. The team there, they were all business savvy, and I have an entrepreneur in residence, Michael Moore. He's been incredible with me as well, and they continue with us along the way. We're fairly new. We're only a year and a half in, and we just launched our first program February 2nd of this year. And so we are taking off, but we needed that support. So be sure you have that support. It's so incredibly important. And to accept it. Accept the support you need. You need to accept the support you need. Understand you don't know everything. Understand that these people that are around are to help you and to benefit you. Both on the business side, I knew nothing about marketing. On the marketing side, the coaches I have are beyond stellar and know well more than I know in the coaching space. It's really important that you have all of those aspects and to continue having that gratitude.
I love that you brought that up, and something that is really interesting, because I'm a little further along in pretty much all of my businesses. I'm not in that startup phase, and when you get going, what a lot of people I have found have a tendency to do is to drop back on that support and that community, and then what happens is they stagnate. And so talk to me a little bit about, once you hit your stride, because you've had a launch, you're doing things, but you still continue to surround yourself with people who are in your industry, who are doing great things, and continue to put the right people in the room. So how did that shift for you? How has that been shifting for you? And talk to us a little bit about that.
Okay, so thank you for that. I have to say, I think what people don't really give a lot of thought to is the dips that occur in business. And I think a lot of people that draw back, it's because they experience that, they call it trough of despair. I hate to even say it on television, but I'm going to. So the fact that people hit that space and then they pull back, I think it's really important to know that you have the support. And what's really important is to do your own personal work to know that you can succeed, that you are capable of this success. Other people have done it, you can do it, but that's really what you need to push through. and have that very vulnerable, open communication with your team, with the people that are helpful to you. They're here to help you. Everyone wants everyone to succeed. So let them help you, and it makes all of the difference.
It really does. And, I think it's key to point out here, everybody goes through this.
Yes.
Every business goes through this. You always have that first strong friends and family push, and then there's that dip. And it happens to everyone. Literally every industry, everyone experiences it at some point in time. And, it's very normal for people to feel like they're in a kind of like in a vacuum, if you will. And they feel like no one else is experiencing this because there's so many people outwardly, they don't share it. So I really love that, having that support, having that accountability is brought to light. And it's normal. It's part of business. Like, business is not great every single day. That's the reality. And anybody who says that business is roses and it's always like this every single day, they're lying. Every industry matures. Every industry has dips and valleys. We do have to break just briefly. We have an AI moment coming up for you. Yes, it is our tech moment of the week. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.